Microbehunter here, and yes, today I want to share with you a very interesting email that I received. An email of a disappointed microscopist. He bought himself a new, quite expensive microscope, and he was really disappointed. And then when he returned the microscope, he realized that, well, maybe it is not always necessary to get the best and most expensive equipment. I simply would like to share the email with you. It's a little bit longer. And then I'd like to give you my take and my opinion on the situation. Hello, Microbehunter. I'm writing this email because I think that what I'm about to tell is a common and yet not often expressed problem among microscopists. First of all, maybe you remember the problem I had with the brand name microscope. I'm now in the process of returning it, and that made me think of a thing that may benefit a lot of people in this hobby, and maybe you could make a video about it. Well, of course, thank you. Here is the video, and I think it's a very important topic, a topic that I've also talked about a little bit in some of the previous videos. However, this email really nails it and really puts it to the point and expresses the opinion quite clearly. I need to tell you a little bit. I have been in contact with this viewer of my videos per email because he had some technical problems with the microscope, and now he decided to return it. We always want more. More equipment, more quality, more and more to have the best possible experience in microscopy. But I experienced this myself. Sometimes even a cheap OMAX microscope can be better than a brand name high-end microscope. This is because it feels, quote, with more freedom to use it and not be afraid of ruining some mechanisms. I have had an OMAX since 2016. And yes, I still want to get a new microscope because I feel it's time. This older microscope is now getting more and more difficult to use, having more problems. And here now this is a very interesting, the next sentence is quite interesting. But I learned that you do not need to upgrade to an expensive microscope. I watched your video when you said that microscopes are like iPads, and that's true. I made the mistake, and many microscopists also, of focusing on the equipment and having this idea that the best microscope gives the best experience. That's wrong. I've been thinking of buying an OMAX M837ZL microscope once I get the refund. Why? Because first of all, it is almost the same as my current OMAX, and I would not be getting so many problems in getting used to it. Yours sincerely. Well, thank you for your comment. I need to clarify a few things. In a previous video, I stated that modern microscopes these days are a little bit like iPads. Not my words, but also the words of another person who wrote a comment in my YouTube videos. And with that, I meant to say that modern microscopes often are not quite serviceable. They cannot be repaired. You buy them, you get them out of the box, and when there are issues with them, you basically, throw them away, and then you get a new microscope. So this is a little bit this attitude of using it until it doesn't work anymore, and then you get a new one. And this is basically what I meant when I said that microscopes are a little bit like iPads. They're kind of closed systems that are difficult to maintain unless you get really high-end brand microscopes. Just to clarify a little bit. But now let's go back a little bit to this comment here. Wow, it was like this that the person who wrote me this email had several technical problems with his slightly more expensive microscope. He wanted to upgrade, he got himself a microscope, and the first thing is that there were problems with the mechanical stage. It wouldn't hold the slide. He sent me then some pictures that he took through the microscope. I have to tell you, the image quality was horrible. I don't know why. A massive chromatic aberration. And not just, within the normal ranges was really severe. So I don't know, there must have been some optical problems as well. I don't know why. I've never seen anything like this. In any case, he decided then to return the microscope, disappointed, but not only because of the quality aspect, but also because it was so expensive, and actually it did not really add very much to the hobby. And I think this is also one of the things that I would like to say here is sometimes we are focusing too much on the equipment. We think that we need the better camera, we need the better, more expensive objectives to get a nice picture. Because sometimes you want to also get very good images, you want to share them. You see YouTube videos, also some of the many cases videos that I I make, and I understand this, but sometimes it is actually more depends on the way that you prepare the specimen than actually on the optics of the microscope. So for example, I do receive a lot of, not a lot, but occasionally some emails where people ask me, what is the best camera for the microscope? How many megapixels do I need? Do I need to get more megapixels to get a very nice image quality? And I said, no, that's completely the wrong point. The resolution, the camera resolution does not contribute so much here, because the limiting factor is the microscope, but we're already at the limit anyway of what is physically possible. But people don't know really, okay, what do I now need to do to actually get a better experience? And sometimes it is indeed the case that you have to upgrade. I mean, I think it's a good idea to have a binocular microscope here, where you're able to look through it with two eyes. It gives you a better experience than always having to hold one eye closed. Of course, it's a question of convenience, it's a question of ergonomics, and larger microscopes are also a little bit more convenient to use if you sit longer behind the microscope. Sure, all of this is the case. However, a microscope that costs 10 times as much does not allow you to see 10 times as many things. That's also provided you're beyond the toy microscope level. Okay, so let's not talk about those. But the point that I'm trying to make is that there is this law of diminishing returns. This means that in order to really get a small improvement, you have to pay a lot more money. And then the question is it actually worth the small improvement in the first place? And the interesting comment here is the following. Well, you have to kind of like using the microscope. And if you spend already so much money on a microscope and you're always afraid of breaking it, or of I don't know, doing something wrong and then it doesn't work anymore and you cannot get it serviced because it's a closed system, then of course this takes the fun out of microscopy. So my suggestion, as always, is start low and then upgrade if you feel that you have to. And in this case, it's a very nice example where an upgrade was a little bit, too much, I would say, and unnecessary, because it did not deliver this expected jump in microscopy experience. And after all, what we are all interested in is not alone in the technology and in the hardware. Of course, it's also quite interesting. I like to talk about microscopy hardware, but ultimately it is the observation of nature, okay? That we want to experience our immediate environment through the eyepieces of a microscope, because it connects us more to our environment. That is actually an attitude or an approach that I would like to encourage as well. But then again, I like microscope hardware as well. Okay, that's why I've also made this YouTube video. But let's keep everything a little bit in balance here. Thank you very much again for your comment. Of course, this topic, different people might have different views on this topic as well. And I would simply like to encourage you. Maybe you can post comments below. And I do have to say one thing. Before you click away, because I do also receive emails and comments like this. But I mean, why are you always saying that it's not necessary to have a very expensive microscope? You yourself are using very good microscopes, and that's correct. But I have specific needs for those because I'm making YouTube videos, and for this reason I have certain specification requirements that help me make YouTube videos, and this is the reason why I need certain equipment. So just to clarify this a little bit, because I know that some of you might comment and say, what are you talking about? You say always don't invest too much at the beginning, and then what are you doing? Okay, you're not even sticking to your own things that you say. Well, and the reason I know about that, but I have to say, I've got specific requirements as well. I think now it's really enough. I wish you all the best. Happy microbe hunting as always, and see you around next time. Bye bye.